I always get asked what I think about certain vitamins and supplements. Today I'm sharing an update on the 5 vitamins that I take each day at 46 years old to keep my hormones balanced and my immunity up. So stick around because they're all from Amazon. If you're new here, I'm Natalie Up, owner of Fired Up Fitness and creator of the Mom Bod Tune-Up. On this channel, I simplify hormone balance for moms 35 and older with tips on nutrition, fitness, and more. If this sounds like you, be sure to subscribe and share this video with your friends. Last year, I did a video on the same topic and it was pretty popular. So I thought, since I've done some tweaks and discoveries since then, I thought it was time for an update. At the time of that last video, I thought I was well on my way to menopause. However, I've since learned that I'm just in the good old perimenopause years that are all so fun, which is actually a good thing. But I'm going to talk about what changed when I implemented the 5th vitamin that I'm going to talk about. Before we go through the list, I want to say that it's super important to try to get as many of your vitamins and minerals through whole and unprocessed food. However, I know even as a nutrition coach, it's a reality that you're not going to always get to that point. And especially as we age, we become deficient in some of those vitamins and minerals. So I do feel like it's important to take those vitamins on a daily basis to supplement your food intake. All right, let's start with those basics. We're starting off the list with a multivitamin. And if you missed the last video, make sure to go back and watch it. If you want to know what I discussed that I think a quality multivitamin should have in it and contain, I know multivitamins can contain all sorts of different things. So what I feel like is important, but for today's video's purposes, I'm just going to share the brands that I feel like that you're getting your biggest bang for your buck and that is not going to be filled with a lot of junk. The reason why you want to take a multivitamin is to increase immunity, support your energy, metabolism, brain function, hormone balance, and reduce inflammation. My 2 favorite ones are one, Andrew Lessman's Essential One, and the second one is Pure Encapsulations 1. Both of these are actually just 1 capsule a day, so they're kind of like a 1 a day. However, I have found that the Pure Encapsulations one, that's one I used to use all the time religiously. However, it's really hard to kind of find lately on Amazon. It goes in and out of stock a lot, so I just kind of got fed up with it and found a comparable option, and actually it's a better price, which is the Andrew Lessman's one. So that's the one I'm going with today. Now, if you follow me and you know that I love the low carb eating style for when we're getting up into those 35 and older years, you'll know that I love the low carb, but when you start out low carb and you are switching over from being a sugar burner to a fat burner, sometimes during that transition, it can cause low energy and headaches. And most of the time that is due to a decrease in electrolytes. So if this is where you're at on your health journey, I recommend that you start with I have 2 options in my list, and I'm going to just put them in the description below. All of these will be in the description below, actually, with links. But I'm going to put 2 options in there, and both of those will have electrolytes in it, at least to use for that, like first month or so while you're, making that changeover. And then you can go into one of those 1 a day versions. The thing is that's kind of annoying about the electrolyte ones is that they each, 1 serving is 3 capsules. Kind of annoying, but when you are just starting out and you are, having the headaches or low energy because of going lower carb, you gotta roll with it actually. So, but as far as a multivitamin, when you're ready, set and, moving on your journey, I recommend the Andrew Lessman one. Next on the list is vitamin D3 with K2. And the reason for the K2 is because it helps your body absorb the D3. So you want to make sure that it's not just D3 by itself, that it's the K2 added. You want to take this because it helps both strengthen your bones, and when we get older, we want to be, making sure we're not getting osteoporosis or even osteopenia. But it also is important for boosting immunity again. So very important. Vitamin D you can get from the sun just naturally, but the only way that you could really get that is when your skin is unexposed by, without sunscreen, I guess. And obviously we're not wanting to spend hours upon hours in the sun without sunscreen, or we're going to have other problems on our hands, which I've had in my lifetime so far, and with a little skin cancer here and there, which is no fun at all. So you want to, be able to support your body for the vitamin D levels it needs by taking a vitamin D3 with K2. I find a lot of women that are aging, and yes, we are aging women, whether we want to admit it or not, but they are deficient in vitamin D. And I find that that you are, you should be having a blood test to determine that for sure. But if you are like super, super fatigued, that might be a sign that you are deficient in vitamin D3. Now, as far as the amounts go, the supplement the vitamin that I'm telling you below, it actually has 2,000 IUs of vitamin D3 with K2. The Andrew LESSMAN vitamin that I told you about, it's kind of cool. They offer it in 3 different versions. One has 1,000 IUs of vitamin D3, one has 2,000, and one has 3,000. So you can figure out what you need for time of year. And this is another reason why I like this vitamin, is because during the summer months, I'll just stick with the Andrew LESSMAN and kind of do a lower version, like 1,000 of the D3 with K2. But right now in the winter months, I actually up it. And so I'm getting 2,000 in the Andrew LESSMAN, and then I'm taking this 2,000 IU of the D3 with K2, so total of 4. You want to be somewhere typically in the range of the 1,000 to 4,000. But there are people out there that need like 10,000 IUs of D3 to get their levels up. So just know that, and you always want to check with your doctor to see what your levels that you need. Next up is vitamin C, and vitamin C is in the category of a heavy hitter of immunity. So we've got vitamin C, vitamin D3 that I just talked about, and the third on the list is zinc for immunity, and zinc is going to be included in the multivitamin that I talked about earlier. So, very important to keep that immunity up, especially now of all times, not only, with pandemic, but also in the winter coming up. So always, be on track to include that into your day. I am personally taking one below that is 1,000, and it's only 1 capsule. I do take that year round. Some people like to boost their vitamin C up just in the winter and, lower it or not take it at all for the rest of the year. I personally like to do this. I've been doing this for years like this, and it works for me. So that's what I'm doing. Next on the list is one that you may or may not have heard of. It's called calcium D-GLUCARATE, and it comes from calcium and glucaric acid, which is a compound that is in fruits and veggies like apples and oranges and Brussels sprouts and broccoli. But basically what calcium D-GLUCARATE does is help detoxify our liver, which is super important, as well as eliminate XENOESTROGENs. And I've talked about these before, but these are basically foreign estrogens that are coming from toxic things in the environment that we're exposing ourselves to through whatever we're, like beauty products or cleaning products and so forth, plastics. But when we are exposing ourselves to those, they can be major hormone disruptors and really just kind of make things go a little bit haywire. As a bonus, calcium D-GLUCARATE has also been shown to help prevent cancers in women like breast, skin, colon, and lung cancer. Number 5 is kind of a fun one to say. It's ashwagandha. So ashwagandha is an adaptogen, which means that it just helps your body cope with daily stress and anxiety. And it comes from an herbal plant. It's actually in the nightshade family. So as a side note, if you are sensitive to nightshades, you may still be sensitive to ashwagandha. So definitely note that. Some of the benefits of taking ashwagandha are it helps lower inflammation, it helps balance hormones, it helps lower blood glucose levels, and obviously, as I talked about the stress, it helps lower cortisol levels because cortisol is our stress hormone. So earlier I mentioned that I thought when I did the last video on this topic that I was nearing menopause, and because I had not had a period in 4 months. And just so you know, if you don't know, because not everybody does, the definition of menopause is actually 12 consecutive months without a cycle, no menstrual cycle for 12 months. That being said, I had started researching, some different things to help. I was also having at the time almost daily hot flashes and night sweats. So when I did this video, I think I did it like last August or it was last fall, sometime in 2019. I just started ashwagandha. Once my body started getting used to it, my period came back. And not only came back, but actually came back pretty regularly, like almost, somewhere in the 28 to 30 days. Which hadn't been happening for probably 2 years prior to that, because I was going through like 15 days, 17 days, or then I'd have like, these 4+ months at a time. It was just totally wackadoodle cycles. And once I started ashwagandha, no more night sweats, no more hot flashes. And I love trial and error with all these little vitamins and supplements to test out. So twice now over the last year, or a little over a year, twice now I've done 2 trial periods for 2 months each with no ashwagandha and just kept my same vitamin regimen. Both times my cycle stopped. Both times. I still haven't had the hot flashes or anything come back, but both times I didn't have the cycle for the 2 months. It was craziness. So I'm on the bandwagon to stay on the ashwagandha. Now, most women are throwing a party when they're thinking like the idea of not having a cycle, especially if you are one that is dealing with a lot of symptoms and PMS. But I will tell you, and I try to encourage my own clients to, we learn ways to manage and get through those symptoms and those times, because you really want to try to get as close as you can to the average age of 51 for menopause to hit. And the reason for that is because the later that you hit menopause, the less likely your chances are for having those hormone-related cancers. So we, as women, we're strong, right? Like we can handle anything. So, we just need to, instead of putting Band-Aids on, trying to fix symptoms, we need to do as much as we can and be proactive by doing things like, vitamins and supplements, and of course, eating right and moving right and dealing with our stress and all the different things that we can do to be proactive to try to help these symptoms and just move through these perimenopause and menopause years as seamlessly as we can. I do want to note another adaptogen that a couple of my clients have found extremely helpful in addition to ashwagandha, and that one's called rhodiola. Both adaptogens are used to fight against stress and fatigue, and they both support the nervous system. Research has also shown that ashwagandha has been shown to reduce joint pain and also support the immune system. Rhodiola's special sauce is to increase the body's resistance to stress. It helps increase physical endurance. It helps fight against stress and fatigue and anxiety. So if you are more of a person that really struggles with anxiety, rhodiola is probably going to help a little bit more than ashwagandha. I feel like ashwagandha is more kind of the general stress. Rhodiola is kind of more of the heightened stress anxiety kind of feeling. So those would be the difference between the two. You can take both together, but I do have clients, and I have a client right now that she had not realized she had forgotten to take her rhodiola, especially during the last month of all sorts of crazy things going on in the world and just, work and whatever, and just being more anxious and stressed out. She realized she hadn't been taking it, and started taking it again and had already started feeling better. So you just never know what's going to help you. It's great that there's all these natural options out there, but it's all about doing your research and, finding what is going to work for you and what your needs are really. If you need more help or that extra push to tune up your hormones in your body, make sure to check out the link in my description for my 9-week online program. It's called the Mom Bod Tune-Up. It's specifically designed for you moms in mind, and I am running an awesome holiday special right now, so make sure to check that out to not miss out on that. I want to say that I am not working with any of the brands. I have just come across them by doing extensive research and a lot of trial and error. And as my last disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. I'm just letting you know what's working for me. I'm a person that does not have any underlying condition, and I'm also not taking any prescription medications at this time as well. So if you decide to try some of these, just always make sure if you do have one of those, if you're, taking meds right now or do have an underlying condition, that you always check with your own doctor. All the vitamins I talked about today are listed below with their links. Hopefully I did a good job on explaining their benefits, and you guys could see, why you might want to start taking some of these. Always, always, always do your research though. Go to the link, check it out for yourself, read the reviews, and, decide, for yourself and maybe with your doctor, if this would be a good fit for you. So if this video is helpful, make sure to smash that like button or just tell me in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Guess it's time to go. Hope you're feeling fired up. Bye.